think it essentially comes down to the research. I think we're just doing really engaging, really impactful research. And I think all credit is due to the researchers and the work that they're doing with their collaborators and their stakeholders. And we're really pushing to do a lot of co-creation. So really listening to our audiences and listening to our collaborators, listening to our stakeholders to make sure that the research really is informed by those who are going to most benefit from it at the end. Those research users are the ones whose voices that we're listening to. So I think that's why it's helping us to create really impactful research projects. And hopefully that came across in the projects that we put onto the Track Impact site. I think the number one goal is for the benefit of the world, is the benefit of society. But it really is an opportunity for researchers as well. You know, having the opportunity to showcase on a website like Track Impact, it's raising their visibility as researchers. It's allowing them to have that visibility as a researcher and grow their own networks, potential new collaborations, potential opportunities for funding bids. So really, it's a win-win situation for researchers, for institutions in terms of showcasing our research, as well as meeting those sustainable development goals and needs of society. It's something that we are very mindful of, and it's something that we do prioritise. It's part of our values, really. We do see ourselves as a civic university, and that's very much about, you know, engaging with our community and working for the best of society. We are really focused on sustainability and climate action. So we have a sustainability working group, and we're making sure that all our best practice in terms of, you know, even just travel bookings or hotels, that we're working with companies that align with our sustainability goals. Obviously, quality education is a huge goal for us, and we are making sure that our teaching is research informed. We're making sure that we're even including students as part of the co-creation in terms of our curriculum development. We're decolonising the curriculum, so obviously equality and diversity is hugely important to us, and obviously in terms of reducing inequalities, that's another priority for us. And our new LJMU values are centred on community, inclusivity and courageousness, as well as students being at the heart. So really they do align very strongly with the Sustainable Development Goals. I think for us as LJMU, we want to keep building our impact culture. You know, we want to embed impact as a matter of course, and that's something that our researchers are doing as best practice. And we want to build on the strong relationships that we've already developed in the Liverpool City region, nationally and internationally, and just keep co-creating that impactful research. I don't think we do want impact to just be something that is for impact case studies or for funding bids. We do want it to be making that benefit in society or for the environment or the economy, especially, you know, things are quite tough. Life in the UK is challenging at the moment, and we want to be able to help some of those challenges with our research. Obviously, REF is always a consideration, and it's always something that you have to be mindful of. But I think for us, in terms of impact specifically, we really want to see impact embedded as a culture across the university. We don't want to have impact activities solely related to impact case studies for REF or just for funding bids. We really want to have it embedded across the university so that not only can we just display value for money in terms of the investment in research, but also just in good terms of good practice, because we really do want to be meeting those challenges that society, you know, the problems that are in society. We want to be answering those difficult questions. So for us, that, you know, that's a huge priority. Well, our strategies are currently coming up for renewal. So we'll be coming up with a new university strategy and a new research strategy as well. So hopefully those will be coming online soon. They're in development at the moment. So we'll be able to work towards those goals. And I think it's developing those next steps now. It's never too early to start thinking about impact case studies. And we really want to focus on it being part of our impact culture. And we really want to work on communicating the great research that we're doing. So for us, it's a big push on communication strategy as well as actually doing the research as well. We want to make sure that we're communicating it well and making sure that the stories are getting on beyond the walls of JMU. And that's why the Track Impact website is such a great showcase for us to be able to use that. And for people don't have to develop their own website, they can have that web page ready there for them to say, look, this is my research, here's an overview of it. You can see the kind of evidence that I've collected and how impactful my research has been by using that website. So communication is a big thing for us to focus on, as well as, you know, just having that embedding the research across the piece. I think it's all about relationships and building relationships and, having strong networks. And that obviously takes time. So, really, as an institution, it's something that we need to facilitate in terms of resources and creating time for academics to be able to foster those strong relationships. And then, in terms of the next step, just really listening to people. And it's a two-way street. And I think sometimes academics can go in and say, oh, we're doing this. And it can be a bit one directional, but really, it should really be a two-way street. And it should really be a listening piece so that those partners feel valued and that they feel that their input is worthwhile. If you're going to ask people to for their time, really need to be able to want them to feel the benefit of investing that time with us. So I think it's really about developing strong relationships. We've really, really been working on how to improve the training of impact across the university, and there is still some misunderstandings about what impact is and how we can implement it into our research culture and life. So one of my focuses as the impact officer has to develop some new workshops. So we already have a big workshop, which is an introduction to impact workshop. And then we've also developed for the first time this year, one that's specifically for postgraduate students, because we want to see impact being embedded at all levels and it not being just a case of impact is important for academic researchers. We want it to be at all levels in the university. So training and has been the biggest thing in helping to achieve that, really. Well, I'm not sure how much advice I can give, as a new impact officer. I'm still learning all the time. And obviously a lot of other impact officers from other institutions have been like hugely helpful to me in terms of developing my role and giving me ideas. And I think, having the opportunity to come to meetings like the Vertigo Ventures and network meetings and the strategy groups, they've been really good for helping me to develop my ideas. But I think, I would go back to training and, making training opportunities available because, for me, I'm the only impact officer for the university and we're quite a large university and sometimes resources are stretched thin. And as much as we want to do a lot of one-to-ones with staff to help them develop, large group training is kind of a more effective way to reach more people, with the limited time that we have. So I'm all about the training, I think, and just communicating with staff and making sure that, you are readily available to have those conversations and give that encouragement to staff. For me, it's just getting to interact with the staff. I just absolutely love hearing about our research because I'm amazed, and it sounds cheesy, but I just think we are doing impactful research that's just impacting the world. So, like literally life-saving work and really informing debate, really informing society, the way we think, just affecting the economy, jobs, in so many different aspects. So for me, it's just the excitement of getting to hear what our researchers are doing. So working with the academics, working with the PGRs, and then helping them to maximize their impact, helping them to understand more about impact and how they can get their impact plans to come to fruition. Just being that kind of super connector that you make suggestions on potential collaborators or funding opportunities. And I'm just glad that I get to shout about it and, promote our research. Well, obviously, as an impact officer, I'm biased, so I would obviously like to see that investment in impact because, it's just so beneficial to society and to meeting those sustainable development goals. And obviously, the more impact officers that you have, the more focused individual support you're able to give to departments and to individuals. So I do think it's a good investment for universities to make, but obviously different institutions will have different views on that. I know in some institutions there are impact officers for every department or every faculty, and that's great to have that resource if you're able to facilitate it. Yeah, Face Lab's just fantastic. It's just so innovative and like cutting edge with their research. So basically, Face Lab is based in the School of Art and Design, and it's a research group that's led by Professor Caroline Wilkinson. And they carry out forensic and archaeological research and consultancy work. So that involves kind of craniofacial analysis, facial depiction, forensic art. And they specialize in facial identity and population demographics, and then creating portraiture and depictions of individuals. So they've done some really fascinating projects. They can look at skeletal remains, death masks and portraits, and then use those to create images of what those people would have really looked like. So they've done some great historical figures. They've done Robert Burns, the poet, done Robert the Bruce, they've done Richard III, they've even done St. Nicholas. So Father Christmas, now we know what he looks like. And not only that, they're doing really important work on the forensic side as well. So, for example, one of the projects that they're working on at the moment is helping to identify the bodies of refugees. So, for example, people who've lives that have been lost at sea, trying to travel from war-torn places. And obviously, being able to identify those bodies is hugely important so that those families know what's happened to their loved ones. They can get closure and they can grieve for those people. So they do a vast range of projects. I mean, I could talk all day about the amazing research that they do in Face Lab, but if you have a look on the Track Impact website, you'll be able to see there's quite a number of projects on there for you to have a look at.